Yo, Eric, what's up? I hope this video finds you somehow because I think I have something interesting to share with you, man. First of all, I want to say thank you so much for making all these videos and putting all this effort in, and that you go so deep down the rabbit hole, man. It's like means so much to me, man, and to a lot of the people in the audio community, really exciting stuff, and just to figure all these things out, I learn a lot. I love what you do and the whole thing, the Audio Nut Institute, also the thing with the pink noise through a speaker, and then looking for where the low end in the snare sounds fed and stuff, like this stuff blows me away, man. It's really awesome. So thanks so much for putting all your love, time, and effort in all this stuff, because it's amazing. So when the Levee Breaks thing, like, first of all, so amazing how close you got. It's really mind-blowing, man. So here's a thing, like, so the left and the right channel, that they sound so different than this weird comb-filtery kind of stuff on the left channel. I have to say that I recognize that sound, and that's because, like, I would record a lot on these kind of things, like make kind of demo-y stuff. I love the sound of 4 tracks, lo-fi cassette stuff. It's just, I think it's awesome, So what I would do sometimes is like record something on a 4-track, then make a mix and bounce it to another cassette deck on stereo, and then put that cassette back in here, so I have like 2 more channels to do other stuff, because the left and the right channel just show up on track 1 and 2. I would have that come back in this deck and then pan it left, right, just stereo, right? But then the weirdest thing would happen, and I never really knew why, or it sounded just strange, is when I would pan this in the middle, so basically making the left and the right channel mono. In stereo it would sound great, and it even would, like, often on cassettes the stereo image seems even a bit wider, like the high frequencies kind of open up, But when you make that shit mono, it kind of like the high frequencies kind of go down, and you get this weird comb-filtery kind of effect, and it sounds really like that, man. So, and it makes a lot of sense, because especially cassette decks, they're made of plastic, so the azimuth, however you pronounce this stuff, the angle of the tape head is, of course, never exactly the same. So if I record something in one cassette deck and then put it in another one, the tape head is slightly angled, the left and the right channel slightly delay, which in stereo can sound beautiful. The kind of, it's almost like this stereo spread plug-in kind of stuff, where it like delays the left and the right channel, the high frequencies a little bit, right? But then when you make that mono, you get weird like phase cancellation kind of stuff going on. So also, you showed it with this plug-in, you would get really close by making 2 channels mono and delaying one of them just a few milliseconds, This kind of stuff sounds really like tape head misalignment. I think this is actually what happened. They would have recorded this stuff there in the Stones truck, right? Like back in those days, or you would have 2 tape machines, you would have exactly the same source and record it on 2 different tapes to always have a backup tape, right? For instance, something happens to this tape, someone accidentally erases the stuff, and if you would work on only one machine, of course in this truck they would have only one machine, because it's a truck, it's not that much room. They would have a 16-track 3M machine, right? They would probably, like, so you would probably have like 3 channels of drums in the end, right? It is a stereo sound with only 2 mics, 2 channels, and you have this weird echo on the Binson echo rack on the 3rd channel. They'll probably track live, at least for a guide or something, or I think a lot of the stuff is tracked live anyway, so they would have bass, guitar, and a scratch vocal probably, so they would have 6 tracks. And you have a 16-track machine, so what do? You say like, okay, we patch this stuff double, so from 9 to 13, just as a safety. I really think this is what happened, man. It's most likely that they mixed it on a different multitrack machine. Maybe it was not even a 3M where they mixed it down from. Maybe it was a Scully or an MCI or a Studer, or I don't know. what might have happened is that they calibrated the machine. They would record tones, right? But I think when they mixed it down, they didn't calibrate the azimuth, you know, the angle of the tape head, which would result in all the channels having a slightly different delay. And if you think about it, like if you would misalign the azimuth on a master recorder, you know, just a 2-track, then you would get your left and right channel would start phase shifting, and then if you would make that signal mono, you get like this weird kind of sound. So you don't really want that, right? But if all channels on your tape machine is a different source, I mean, you're not gonna hear timing differences, because it's like you're talking about milliseconds, you know. If you have like you know, a kick drum, a snare drum, and 2 overheads, and then a bass guitar and a guitar, you're not really gonna hear a little misalignment of some azimuth, you know. But in this case, like how this sounds, I really think, dude, that they had the same drum sources on multiple channels. So then most likely channel 1 and 2, and maybe 9 and 10 or something, you know. And then they would still have that probably, because it's the greatest drum sound of all time that you ever heard. So you better have it safe on there, you know. Then when they started mixing, you know, they make a balance. They just open the 16 tracks and would just find combinations of all the channels. And I think for some reason they opened like 2 left channels, one on channel 1 and one on channel 9, for instance. And it would have this weird comb filtering effect. And who knows, they were sitting in the control room and opened that and just thought like, whoa, this sounds really cool, really interesting. It kind of sounds even wider now, or whatever, you know. I really think that's what happened. I'm not 100% sure, of course, but it seems more likely to me than they would have used some kind of weird filter or whatever, like especially in that time. You know, a lot of these things are, I think, happy accidents. And I had one more thought about the slap echo, because it wouldn't surprise me if that slapback echo on the drums, if that's really the drum sound sent to the Binson. I was thinking this, what if they would set up live in this space? So they figured out this great drum sound in this hallway and it sounds amazing, you know, like, so we move everybody over there. Like if you record a band, you want to see each other, right? You want to react on each other. So they probably put the other guys also in the same room with headphones and the amps in another space, because they have a big building with different spaces. They would be live in the room with headphones, right, to just be able to play live together. So probably Mr. Robert Plant also had a scratch vocal mic, right? Maybe. And they put some echo on that because it sounds cool on the voice. Then he would start drumming, they would have this signal going on, and they would hear this amazing, cool echo on the drums. And they would think like, whoa, that sounds sick, you know. Hey, Robert, man, you better just go outside, dude, or whatever, be in another space, because this sounds amazing through this mic. Let's leave this exactly here and record this echo from the Binson, you know. Because as you say, that channel, and it doesn't sound as compressed as the drum sound itself, so it's like, or less compressed. And it has a very weird peaky resonance, you know. Like, and I guess with a guide vocal mic, he would probably be in a corner somewhere. Maybe it's a Unidyne or an old Electro Voice kind of funky mic. I think these were all happy accidents, and something like this would make sense to me, because myself, I also experienced having a guide vocal in the room with the band, putting some slapback echo or something on that, and then actually the drums would sound really cool. And I would ask the singer, like, hey, this drums actually sounds so great through this, like, guide vocal. So can you not, like, come here in the control room, sing here or something, you know? So I can record this sound through the guide vocal mic, you know? So I really think it's something like this. Of course, I'm not certain, but, man, I want to thank you so much for listening to me. And, you know, I was thinking a cool experiment. I wish I had time now to do that, but I have to mix like 10 different bands still. I think if you would record those drum tracks on, for instance, your Scully, Like, I don't feel like fucking the azimuth on my tape machine, you know, but I really want to try it sometime. But maybe you have time to try that. I mean, I will watch it, dude. It will be sick. You know, I think if you would like put the drums 1 and 2, 9 and 10, and you would fuck up the azimuth, you probably will get really this kind of sound. Because another thing that is like, if you listen to this left channel on the Zeppelin thing, on the Levee Breaks thing, I also seem to hear a little bit of like movement in there, some kind of really subtle flanging kind of stuff, and that will make sense. You know, these tracks are pretty far apart. You have a 2-inch tape, and it's wobbling always a little bit, right? So, you know, I think that will really sound like that. Once again, thanks so much, dude. Looking forward to your next video, and I hope this video finds you. Peace out.